Coffee going, and we are going to be live. Oh, we live. Good morning, good morning, good morning out there to everybody. Yo, about to get back into another episode or another live video, if you will. Blue is our city, Manchester City fan channel. And today we are going to be doing the derby preview, Manchester United versus Manchester City. We're going to get into that. We're also going to get into the previous starting lineup that was played. Hopefully they don't go with that again. We're going to look at some press conference points from Pep, also from Ollie, and then we're going to take a look at what we might see tomorrow. So before we get going on the show, as always, I want to say thank you guys out there for supporting the channel, giving me those likes, giving me those subscribe, share. Feel free just to get in the comments and get at me too, because it's all about us building the community and connecting with our brothers and our sisters all across the world. So let's get going on this preview, bro. So Manchester City versus Manchester United. And I must say, before I get into anything, I really need to say this. We do not want to see anything that has to do with a draw. After we saw that previous derby that was played, I believe that was on match day 12, back in December. I don't forgot what match day it was, but that game was so terrible that I had to watch the replay, if you will, like right before I did this, and it was just difficult to watch. So the only thing I'm saying is, Pep, please let the team open up. Ollie, don't be afraid of anything. Let the team open up. And us as fans, whether you're a United fan or you're a City fan, the only thing you want to see is you want to see the teams go for it at this point, because that game was just awful to watch. And we hope that we don't see that again. Now let's talk about the run of form before we get into anything. Like, the main talking points, obviously, for City is that, we've been on this phenomenal run. 21 games unbeaten or some ridiculous number in the Premier League. But really, when you kind of go back to it and you kind of look at what it was before when we played that previous match, remember, both teams was outside of the Champions League spots at that time. Like, I looked at the table back then, the table looked foreign to me, because it just goes to show you how both teams in their own sort of way have kicked on since we last played each other. So it's really important to say that both teams are just at different levels right now. Now, when you look at City's form, we've been on this incredible run, just really knocking doors down and really asking questions of all opponents at this point. And we've been on this such a phenomenal run, if you will, where United has kicked on in their own way, but they're also experiencing a point to where it's starting to be known a little bit more that they tend to rely on counterattacking football. I know Ollie's made comments against that. They played a lot of draws against like the big six squads, if you will. So, it's a lot of chatter around that. So really, at the end of the day, teams are just in different forms. We are obviously top of the league. They're in second, but they're 14 points beneath us, if you will. And the run of form, especially for us, like I said, has just been phenomenal. But when we take a look at them, my point being here is, what I really want to say is that these games don't really matter. And let me be clear on that. And when we talk about the Manchester United, Manchester City, rivalry, if you will, we've had times to where, they were running away with leagues and winning titles, and then they come play us in the derby at Main Road or wherever we played at Old Trafford. During those times, we used to win games. They have won games against us when we've been on phenomenal form. So the derby serves as like a great equalizer, if you will, historically, right, for both teams. But for us personally, we know we want to win this match, just to say that, we beat them a little bit, give them a little bit of pop, pop, pop in their face, just to say, you guys ain't ready. You guys ain't ready. We run away with this. We'll see you next year. We want that little bit of added edge. And then we want our squad to be tested at the end of the day. We play teams, and, teams try to give us a good fight. We've won games 1-0. But I don't care how we win this game. I just want to win the game. And I'm pretty sure the same goes for their fan base and what they want. Maybe they want to see their team open up a little bit, and we'll get into that as we go here. But at the end of the day, that's the reason why I named this video the way it is. Anything but a draw. No fan, no analyst, no pundit, no football fan wants to see another draw. So hopefully both teams will open up. So going on to the second point is, we got to look at the starting 11 then, and I kind of alluded to it before, is that I think I looked at the table, and I don't know if this is right because it just seems so mind-boggling to me. Is that I think at that point at the in the season, Liverpool was up there, Tottenham was up there, and then we were both trying to just climb our way back up the table, given the way we started our season and kind of with the way that they started their season. So we both had to creep up a little bit in the Premier League table. But when you look at the table at that particular point back in December, like I said, Tottenham, Liverpool, all these other teams were doing their thing. And then I saw us, both Manchester squads, probably like an 8th or 9th or, slowly, definitely outside of those Champions League spots. And it was just weird to even watch. So I want to take a look at the starting lineups that were back then. So bear with me, guys, as I do this. So let's look at this. I have this image here. When we look at this starting lineup that you're seeing, obviously we can expect, and I'm going to go through the Manchester City side of things first, is that we see Edison, we see Kyle Walker, we see really this back four of John Stones, Diaz, Kyle Walker, and Cancelo. And I want to talk about that specifically, is I don't really think that's going to change. I think that this would be a game now to where Pep is really going to put John Stones and Diaz in there. I don't think we're going to see Laporte in this game, but it would be interesting. You never know what Pep can do anything, he wants to. But at that particular point, João Cancelo on the left, I don't know if Zinchenko was even on the bench in that game. You know what I mean? So it just goes to show you that things were just so different even back then. And when we look back, 2-3 months ago. So things were different back then, but I really think that back four probably will remain the same. That's just my opinion. Now, all the talking points kind of lead up to this midfield and the double pivot is obviously you see Rodri and Ferner in there. And Pep was asked about this, and I'm going to talk about this in a second, is that obviously, he set up in a way to contain them of sorts. Pep can never plan out a draw or something like that. Say, we're going to go out there for a draw. We're going to go out not to lose. I totally disagree with that sentiment. I can't see Pep even lining up doing that. But I would not be shocked a little bit if we saw that. I know most City fans are like, no, we don't want to see that at all. We don't want to see the double pivot. But I wouldn't be shocked if we saw that. So whatever it is, at the end of the day, don't be surprised if we might see that. But obviously, you see Kevin De Bruyne, you see Riyad Mahrez, Sterling, and Jesus, who will start the game for us. And I don't really think our lineup may be a little bit too different from that in a sort of kind of way. Now, obviously, this has no, Ilkay Gundogan in it, but, hopefully Pep can find a way. And that's what I've talked about in previous videos is when you look at our squad is really hard to plan for because it's hard to say, like with these front six or front seven players that we have throughout the squad, how do you get them all on the pitch at the same time? You're talking about Kevin De Bruyne, you're talking about Riyad Mahrez, Sterling, Jesus, Bernardo Silva, Ilkay Gundogan. Then you might have a Torres, you might have a Phil Foden. How do you get all of Sergio Aguero? How do you get all of these players into the same team? And the idea that Pep had, let's say, 4 attackers on the field at that particular point, is he going to line up with that same type of system again? Or is he going to have an extra midfielder in there or extra attacking player that we could see either Gundogan or Torres, not Torres, but really Bernardo Silva really coming into there. So it'd be real interesting to see. Now, when we look at their lineup, this part I'm very interested in is that, there's been a lot of chatter on their side. Obviously, I watch some of their content. They're rivals, but, I like to watch them as a equalizer to see, what they're doing, how we could be better. And I'm pretty sure they watch us. I remember when, Ali first got the job, bro, Ali used to watch Man City play every time he could, bro. I think he might used to even go to the games when he first started just to watch the way we played. But the way that they kick on now is, I'm not too sure David De Gea may play in this match. I think we might be looking at Henderson. Obviously, you're going to see Wan-Bissaka, and I believe Luke Shaw is definitely going to play for them, along with Maguire. The interesting part from their side is that obviously they went with Lindelof and they went with, Maguire back then. But a lot of chatter from their particular fan base, whether it may be from what Steven is doing or what Mark is doing or what the pig is doing, a lot of them tend to gravitate toward this narrative that their center backs are slow, right? So it's going to be real interesting to see, does he go with Lindelof in Harry Maguire, or does he put Eric Bailly back in there? So it'd be real interesting to see what they do, but that's what they went with then. Now, the midfield is very interesting to me because obviously they tend to be, in my opinion, specialists of the 4-2-3-1 setup. I know we play it, but with our fluidity, we can be anywhere and everywhere, but with them, their lineup, it has to kind of go to these points because you're looking at Fred and McTominay, and Ollie doesn't play Van de Beek. Whatever reason he doesn't play Van de Beek, and that's on them. But, we're going to see Fred and McTominay more so in there. I doubt that he'll bring Matic in for this particular game, but I really think we might see Fred and McTominay there. So that'll be probably the same. And then I'm going to talk about two players that we obviously have to contain, and they played last time, which is Bruno Fernandes and Rashford. I doubt we'll see Pogba because I think Pogba might be out for them. I'm not too sure about that, but I think that that's where they find themselves. Is the reason why we had Ferner and we had Rodri in there at the time is because, we want to man mark essentially Bruno Fernandes because we know he's deadly. But at the point he's at right now, when we played them, that Bruno Fernandes might be a little different than the Bruno Fernandes that we're seeing right now, because in my opinion, the way that they play, it's very, it could suck a lot of energy out of a person. You know what I mean? So let's just say that, and then the amount of games that he's had, tends to always, every time United plays, they play him, so there's been a lot of chatter about him being fatigued, but is this the game that he goes away and decides to get rest? I doubt it, so you might see some element of containment there, whether, like I said, it's Ferner and Rodri, or maybe Rodri's at the point where Rodri can do this job by himself. And a lot of City fans probably hope that, but let's just go ahead and see that. But those are the two people that we definitely will be marking, and really all eyes will be on them from a defensive standpoint from Manchester City. So that way we can not let them kind of, dictate any damn thing. So that's just where we're at. Now, they haven't, I don't know about Martial's situation, but Martial seems to be in and out of the team for whatever reason. I'm not too sure if he's going to be playing in this game due to fitness, but when they went as before, they had Rashford playing up front, Greenwood. So I think Greenwood's been playing for them now. That's another player that we might have to watch. I'm pretty sure he might go Greenwood. I can't see him going James Shachette, but we might see that at some point. But the idea is that we need to make sure that we pay attention to Bruno Fernandes, in my opinion, Rashford, and I don't know if he goes Cavani. I don't know if he goes Martial, but we'll see. But whoever that third player is, we need to be able to watch them. You know what I mean? So that'll be interesting to see. But I think what we saw, particularly back then, it's not going to be too much variation from what we may see tomorrow. So that's going to be an interesting point. One thing I'm looking forward to is to seeing really how both teams from that starting lineup, how they would approach this particular game. So hopefully both teams will, decide to open up the play a little bit, in my opinion. People out there, let me know what you guys think. Do you want to see the double pivot? Do you not want to see the double pivot from a City perspective? And if you're a City fan and you're watching them, are you thrilled to see Fred and McTominay? Do you want to see, Matic playing in there? So let me know what you guys think. But at the end of the day, we'll see that. And that's going to be a good talking point from where we were at in December versus who's playing tomorrow, in my opinion. Now moving on to these points right here. And I want to talk about, the press conference points that I really watched Pep a little bit more. And I thought it was kind of interesting. And we led up to this particular press conference. I'm not going to talk about Ollie so much because at the end of the day, this is a City fan channel. Why would we cover those guys? But, I'm going to talk a little bit about what Ollie mentioned and what stresses that he's been under, or what questions he's been fielding, if you will. So let's get into the Pep points. So obviously Pep looked at this press conference and came into it feeling confident. And one of the first questions that I heard was really asking about the fitness point. So obviously we have a full fit squad, and it's so good to have Nathan Ake back. And at some point, I would love to see Nathan Ake get back into the squad. Now, there was a hilarious moment, in my opinion. It's Saturday morning over here. I'm watching over here in the United States. I'm pretty sure you guys may be in England, or you may be somewhere in Europe or Africa, wherever you might be, South America, wherever you're watching from. But when I wake up and, I have my morning cup of coffee when I get ready to do these things, I always love watching Pep, do these press conferences because funny things tend to happen. These are the things I tend to notice. So let me know if you guys notice this. But he was asked a question, and this is why your man is so funny. He basically was asked a question. I'm paraphrasing, obviously, basically saying that if you win this game, and part of the gentleman that asked this question, I think he might have just been slipping off his game at the moment. But he said, if you win this game, you'll basically be 15 points clear with 10 left to play. Yo, did you see Pep Guardiola's face? Pep Guardiola was like, he kind of looking around like, yo, what is this guy talking about? And that's the reason. That's why I said Pep is so funny, because if you know Pep Guardiola is a tactician, avid learner, a person that preaches over and over and over and over and over again. So for him to probably be so meticulous in his thinking, knowing that he's been working with his coaching staff and everybody to be like, hold up, this is how many points we have. This is how many games we got left to play. It goes to show you that Pep is not slipping. His facial expression was like, nah. Slow up, player. We have calculated to a T with these points. So letting you know that Pep Guardiola is always on his game. So I love Pep Guardiola's face when he was asked that question. The second question came from Stewart. And I don't know Stewart's last name. Let's see what we got here. Yo, what's up, my guy, bro? Shout out to you, man. Shout out to you, family. Doing this Manchester City preview. How you doing, bro? How you doing? Let me know how you doing this morning. Yo, good to see you, man. And we talking about this derby, so it's funny how you going to jump in this derby match, man. I'm talking about the press conferences right now, and from a Pep standpoint, and then I'm gonna touch on Ollie. So before I get to that, let me know how you doing, but also let me know what you think about tomorrow's match and how you get ready for this preview. Oh man, come on. All right, I'm gonna back up the show for you. I'm stressed. This is so funny. Yo, you got nothing to be stressed about, man. Let me tell you why you got nothing to be stressed about. One thing we know is that the derby is always the great equalizer, right? It's always the great equalizer. There's been times where, United's been running away with the league and then we can beat you guys. Or there's times in this situation where, we've been rocking and then all of a sudden you beat us. So this is probably the game to really see what you guys can really do. But to say that you're stressed, the one thing I can definitely think about is the only thing we both want to see is we do not want to see a draw. We want to see open football. And please tell me you concur with that, man. We need to see open football. So I'm saying this, and I put this in the title, is that neither one of us want to see a draw. So let me know if you concur with that. Shout out to you, man. Shout out to you. But Pep was asked a question that I thought was a little spicy in the press conference. He basically was asked a question that, and this is going to tie back to you being a United fan. He goes, basically, are you going to see, and this is Stuart asking the question, are you going to play Ferner and Rodri together? Because from a United perspective, there was a lot of chatter on the United side that said that City was a little scared to play United, given the fact that you guys had won 3 derbies last year, and we were a little scared to play you guys, or was we showing respect? And I was like, oh, Stuart getting a little spicy in this press conference. So let me know what you think about that as well. Let's see what your comment is over here. If we stay organized, I think we can. Yo, come on, man. Come on. Shout out to you, man. Come on. You can't want to see a draw. I think you guys, you drew against Palace. You drew against Chelsea. I know you ran away with Sociedad, but you can't tell me that you want to see a draw, though, right now, man. There's no way you want to see another draw. Now, I know that this would be a different draw than those draws, but there's been a lot of chatter that you guys do a lot of draws, especially this year in the big matches. So let's see what you got going over here. Figure this out. I don't know, bro. Yo, this is so funny, yo. I love this. And, yo, I want to thank you, bro. Like, I'm a new channel and you're really helping me interact. And I'm learning to stream y'all through you because I'm learning how to bring the quotes or, the talking points on the screen. So shout out to you, man. You funny. All right. So point. That's a point well taken. I think we both want to see something in a goal, at this point, because this will help me tie into the United point. And, everybody talk about respect. And, Pep basically said that, look, we show United enough respect because we know their counterattacking ability. And that's one thing we have to watch. So previously I was talking about that we might see that double pivot again. You might see Rodri and you might see Ferner out there. But on the United side, you're going to see Fred and McTominay. So it's like we're both playing essentially this double pivot role. I can't see him playing Matic. So if we see a 1-1 draw either way, I think that would be good from a United perspective. I want to see City get that 2-1, obviously, but 1-1 wouldn't be the end of the world, I think, for City fans. But for you guys definitely need a goal to kick on. But like you said, please shout you out. Please, no 0-0 draw. And this is really going to bring me to the second point with Ali, right? Like Ali's basically been saying that like he's under pressure this week. Everybody's been talking about his negative tactics, how he's got all these big draws in all of the big games. And Ali had to answer a lot of questions this week about his narrative around while they're dipping in form. And he basically said, we stay organized. And I think that's one of your points. He's definitely under pressure, in my opinion, is that obviously the board, I think they will support him, but you could tell he's definitely under pressure because they keep asking him questions about these draws, about how he's setting up. And he mentioned that they do strive to play good free-flowing football. The only point I would argue in there is that without Pogba and not using Van de Beek, how could you really play expansive football, especially when it looks at your midfield? So shout out to you, and you know that Ali's under pressure. Now, let me see what you said about Tuchel. Tuchel did say thing last week that we couldn't bring all the way through and ended up. That's the one thing. And Chelsea is very much similar in the same vein. I think Chelsea plays a lot like United. It's very similar to what we might be seeing right now. So shout out to you for that. So you spot on, man. You make a lot of good points here. But obviously at the end of the day, we want to see a City win. So obviously you guys want to get a good result. I need a City win. But I think both managers are going to take a unique approach to this. Pep obviously knows that game we played both in December, that game we played in December was not pretty on the eye. It was not pretty for the pundits. It was not pretty for fans. But we were both in a different situation back then. We were so far out of the table. You look it up, you see a Liverpool, Tottenham, Everton, all this other stuff. I just think that we both were in a different place at that time. But being that this is City, I want to see him practically line up with a double pivot to say, you know what, we're going to have a double pivot out here, but we're going to try to go for the win. 1-0, 1-1, 2-1. So, this is a City channel, bro. So, we got to hope that we do something. But I want to see United put us to the test. That's so funny. I do say that when Ali's under pressure, he tends to find a way to figure things out, right? But that's what the derby is. And I can go back and watch many of Manchester derbies. There have been times, like I said, where United has just been rocking and rolling, and then we come in there, they come to Main Road, and, maybe we'll halt that progress. They'll win the title, but at the end of the day, we had a little bit of sense of hope, or we felt pride of that particular day. If United win tomorrow, it's not the end of the world for City because we want that title, but it might be something a little bit for Ali. It might be something for their fan base. Point being is that, I don't get too high or too low on these derbies. The reason why is because anything can happen. Anything can happen in these derbies. These derbies are really wild when you really think about it. So I think it's going to be very interesting to see what we have there. Now, I'm going to go into, let me know what your score prediction is. Please let me know what your score prediction is. Honestly, from a United fan, I'm going to give you my score prediction here coming up in a second. But the only thing I want to see from City is I want to see this. What do I want to see? We both want to see, like I said, both sets of fans. We both want to see free-flowing football, some type of free-flowing football. Nothing where we're both sitting back, and it'd be really interesting to see, does Ali go with the 6 defensive players with the Fred and McTominays in there? Because I don't think that he's going to play Van de Beek, and I'm not too sure Van de Beek is healthy. I don't think Pogba is going to be able to play. Martial might be an interesting one, but from everything I'm reading, Martial might be out. So does Ali sit back and take a defensive tactic approach and try to hit on the counterattack after he's been asked all of these questions about counterattacking football? Is he going to come up out of that shell and be forced to come out of it in this shell in this particular game? So that's the one thing I want to see. Let me see what you're saying over here. Pogba's definitely 100% out. All right. Pogba's 100% out. Let's see. That's all right. Plenty of chances. What? All right. So you try to show respect. Obviously, this is a Manchester City fan, and you're teaching me StreamYard, but I'm gonna have to do it to you. Simply meaning, I need to see City go 2-1, and I really think that this game is going to be tough. I really think it's going to be tough. We know that we're going to see Stones and Diaz. I don't think we're going to play Laporte. Stones and Diaz will hold it tight. And if we can get 2-1, that's what I'm going for because, like I said, or 2-0, but I'm going to give Manchester United a little goal in this because nobody wants to see 0-0 at the end of the day. Nobody wants to see a boring affair. Shout out to my man Brian here. You don't want to see a 0-0. I don't want to see a 0-0, but I just want to see both teams get tested more so than anything. City have been running away with the league, and or everybody's like, yo, City's going to win the league and it's over and all of that. Nah, let's let United kick on, and United has to test us at some point. And I'm a fan of that. I want to see United come out and test us. I don't know how they're going to do it because I mentioned earlier, are they going to play Lindelof and Maguire, or is it going to be Bailly and Maguire? Because that I think is going to be very interesting. Because if he goes with Bailly, he's like, okay, I want to play a little faster. So if he's going to play faster and not so much Lindelof will play. Hoover and Dyson? Ah, man, don't tell me he's going to go Hoover and Dyson. Yeah, that's mad disrespectful. Yeah, I think Goldberg said that. Hoover and Dyson, that's ridiculous. I hope he doesn't do that. But from our end, we're going to have Stones and Diaz. So it's going to be interesting to see what we do. But the one thing I'm looking for is if he plays Lindelof, French in the corpse. Oh my God, dude, you're terrible. You are terrible. That's mad funny. Shout out to this guy. If he plays that, but think about it like this. If he plays Lindelof and he plays Maguire, that means that you might be more sound. You might be more organized because you have to be. Where if you play Bailly, you might think about taking a little bit more risk, which will give us the counter-attacking opportunity. So I think that that's going to be real interesting. And the only thing I really want to see in this, I want to see Raheem Sterling score. I know I said 2-1 or 1-0, whatever. I want to see Raheem Sterling get a goal in this match and just get that out of his system. Do you know how long I've had to wait until he scored against Liverpool? So maybe he scored against Liverpool this year because Bernardo set him up. Please, Sterling, get me a goal versus United. Get it out of your system, please. So hopefully we can just see that. That's the only thing I want to see. And we just got to watch Rashford and we got to watch Bruno. I think Bruno's fatigued, and I mentioned that earlier, B, so you might not have a chance to know. I would definitely, let's see. Extra protection. Extra protection is going to be protection on full assault. Like everything is just, let's protect everything. So I don't know. That's going to be interesting, but that might be your perspective. But honestly, we're going to do the same thing. We are going to be protected against Bruno, and we're going to be protected against Rashford because, in my opinion, Rashford's always dangerous. He's always dangerous, because he's so fast. But when I watch United, I do watch a few United games. He looks like he's just drained of playing this type of football. You don't, especially when you play against City. Imagine you playing against City and we kicking the ball around up and down, side to side for 10 minutes at a time. You finally get the ball back, and then you look up and you see nobody in front of you. It's like you're on an island. It's like 1v4. And I see Rashford get so frustrated. I know he doesn't tend to be very vocal, but his facial expressions tell me that he's drained. And Bruno Fernandes has got to be drained as well because he looks fatigue drained. Marcus Rashford looks more mentally fatigue drained. But when I look at Bruno, it'll be real interesting to see. So that's the reason why I would think we both got to play protection style football. We might line up with John and Ruben Diaz, but we might see Ferner and Rodri in there just to protect against those two players, where you guys are going to have stability with Lindelof and Harry Maguire to not take any risk. But that Fred McTominay piece is going to be very interesting. So let me know what you think about that, because I think that that's really what I'm going to be looking for, is to see how both teams kick on. And Are we organized? Do we decide to kick on? Do we decide to open up and go for it and just say, you know what, we're 1-2 right now, but I think Chelsea might be getting a little closer to you guys. So does Ollie take the risk of opening up the team? Where from our standpoint, I would love to see Pep just say, you know what, screw it. Screw it. Let's just go crazy. It doesn't matter if we lose. And Pep even said that in his press conference. He was like, yo, look, we know these guys got talent. I remember playing them when I first entered Old Trafford, when I was with Barcelona. We know that these guys got talent, but we need to go for it. So hopefully we can see that. Let's see what you got going on here. But you know what? That's funny, though. That's funny. Why doesn't he play Van de Beek? I don't get it. And maybe because I'm a Manchester City fan and I've been groomed into give and go style football, playing in triangles, but Van de Beek seems like he's the only one outside of Pogba that can really play, one touch, two touch football, So I don't really understand the thinking there. I watched every game. Yo, Fred, you know what's funny? Back in those days, can you remember that? Can you remember that there was a time that we wanted Fred? I think we wanted Fred. Jose managed to get Fred over there with you guys, just like we wanted Alexis, and then you guys ended up getting him. And Fred has games to where he's got a lot of energy, but he cannot pass, in my opinion. Not all the time, but McTominay does things unexpected at times. I remember what game was that where I saw McTominay, I think it was versus Leeds. McTominay looked like the young version of a young Pogba or something against Leeds. So you never know. You never know, yo. That's it. Yeah. He cost you guys some money and saved us a little bit of money, but Fred has a purpose, but I want to see really what Ollie's going to do. So we never know. I think it's going to be a good contest. At the end of the day, neither one of us want a draw, and that's all we can pray for. I obviously want a City win, but neither one of us want to draw. Neither one of us want to see stale football. We want to see both teams go for it. I don't care at this point. It doesn't matter. If we lose, it's fine from a Manchester City perspective. I think from a United perspective, if United open up and they play football, after all them questions he's been asked during this week and all of the draws that he's had, there's not going to be such thing as a good draw, because it's going to be the United fan base is going to get on them even more. If it's a stale kind of sit back type of performance and just try to hit on the counterattack, now all the pundits are going to be able to say, well, Ollie, we just asked you this question last week. You said that it wasn't counterattacking football. So I don't think he can afford to do that. So it'd be very interesting to see. Let's see. He makes runs that no one in the team reads. Yo, that is so funny. I don't know. It's so funny because, like I said, I like give and go style football. And that's the one thing I see with United. United is about power and pace, and they can hit you on a counterattack, but they don't have the idea, especially last year when I watched them, because let's be real, Ollie did his thing. And I remember there was a time, I think it was last year, especially last year, he was doing well versus the top six because he gave us fits. He gave us fits. And I was not happy with Pep last year because I was like, yo, we got to get at these guys. Like, it's all about that rivalry, right? But he was doing well against the top six. Now you kind of go into this year, and it kind of looks like Mourinho style football. And it's, a little bit of sit back, let's be organized, hit on the counter attack, that type of football. And I think it's just too much of that going on this year. So I don't think he can afford to do it. But he's going to have to open up that team. And with Donnie specifically, maybe he doesn't like Donnie, but that's just maybe a waste of money, in my opinion. Like, you just out there throwing bread when you could have got Jadon Sancho or, buying another center back, whatever have you. You can't just be out here wasting money, especially with a player that has the ability to unlock things. Because when you watch United, sometimes, not watch United sometimes, but if you don't have a player to unlock simple passes and go give and go football, as a fan, when you watch the game on the television, you could just see that people are stagnant. They're just standing in zones. They're not even running in the spaces, standing in zones by themselves. So I don't think Ollie could afford that. That's funny. That's funny. You can't be talking about, that's one thing I'll give it up. There's two fans from Manchester that I'm always going to be rocking with. And on my side, that's Mr. Cheeseman. He's one of my heroes. But on you guys' side, Ricky is one of my heroes on the United side. And Ricky don't have you talking about Dan James, bro. Dan James, I think he might play Dan James is going to come on at some point in this game. You can't imagine that it's just going to be all Greenwood. Greenwood's going to have to be, it's either he's going to start with Greenwood and bring on James, or he starts with James and then brings on Greenwood. And that's another point. I'm so glad you made me think of that, because this is what Ollie might try to do. Ollie might try to sit back against us for about a good 65 minutes, 70 minutes, and then try to bring on one of his influences of a game, like a game changer, a Greenwood later on, or Martial if he plays, or I don't know about Cavani if he's out, but he has a tendency to do that. I think Pep will be watching that, but that idea doesn't really work against us, because we be running around all day, so we don't really necessarily get tired. So that idea of you going to wait and make this team tired and then be able to hit on the counterattack, I'm not too sure that will work against us, but it'd be interesting to see, bro. So at the end of the day, I want to see a Manchester City win. I'm going 2-1 City. Raheem Sterling scoring 1 goal, Rashford scoring another goal. And who is going to get the last goal? None other than Sergio Aguero. That's bold. That's bold. Maybe I'm living in fantasy land, but we'll see. I think Dan James would start on the right. Yep. I really think somebody's going to start on the right, whether it's Dan James or it's going to be Mason Greenwood. I don't know, but it's going to be an interesting derby. And I want to say, bro, thank you for at least chiming in here, bro. You've been awesome, bro. You're really teaching me how to work this system. And at the end of the day, you provide encouragement. You provide encouragement for me. So, bro, shout out to you. Thank you so much for just doing that. At the end of the day, it's going to be a good game. Neither one of us want to see a draw. And we hope that City kick on. You hope that United kick on. But at the end of the day, like I said, no draws. Manchester derby. We're going to see where we're at. And I'm going to see you guys again after the review tomorrow. So peace out. Shout out, man. Thank you guys so much, man, for tuning in. Thank you, bro. Excuse